Aw, shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back at it again. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's not a social production. We're doing it. Baby boys, baby girls. It's Friday, August the 16th, 2024. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. If it's your first time tuning in, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel if you'd like to catch the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadger if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. If you've been with me from the get-go, sending all the love right back to you wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, whether it's down south in the United States, per usual, Mexico, South America, East Europe, Western, Middle Europe, the Middle East, over there in Africa. And let's not forget the biggest continent on the planet Earth with people with the biggest cacks also. Over there in Australia, down under, over there in New Zealand, Wagwan to me familia, globally speaking, that is Antarctica. If you're doing research, shout out to you. We're out to outer space, space station, holding it down, underwater in a submarine, with a bunch of seamen. Let's go wherever in a cave, in a shed, you're off grid, but still you're getting water from the rain, and you're purifying the water. You're drinking your own piss. Shout out to you. You're in a survivalist camp of sorts, competing with others to see who can be a survivor of the fittest. Wherever you're tuning in from, you're in a fat camp to see who can get the fattest. Also, shout out to you. Wherever you're in an anorexic camp to see who can get the rail thin, who can play the xylophone on their ribs. Also, shout out. Let's find that happy medium as per usual. We're here. I hope you're doing well. Let's get a sip of this shit right here before we get started. Let's get a little bit caffeinated, please. And then let us begin. Let the games begin. There are no games. And let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. What do you call a black ninja? A ninja, you fuck. That's what you call them. Shout out to my ninjas globally, holding it down, bouncing off the walls. Hope everybody's doing well. A lot of things, a lot of exciting things are happening in and around the world. It's the greatest time to be alive. Of course, I'm happy to be kicking amongst you folks, beautiful sons and daughters and bitches, cousins, distant relatives, be familiar. Let's get into it. Everybody knows out there that the best flavor in life is puss. And then next to that is probably cock. But let's say you're just an average fellow or lady, you're about to get your day going and you've not had the time to go down on the box. You've not had the time to eat some puss. But you're like, man, I wish I had that flavor in my mouth at least between 9 to 12 before lunch. I can, get me through half the day, and then from noon forward, it's all downhill from there. But at least get me through half the day, morning till noon, get me through the day with a little bit of puss flavor. But where am I? I'm not gonna find. If my lover's not with me, if my baby's not with me, I can't just randomly pull up and eat random box. Some can, I guess, but most can't. And that's what, or cock for that matter. You're a lady out there, like, oh, I'm about to head out there and conquer the business world, or the arts and crafts world, or the world of medicine, which is also business, or the world of pleasure, which happens to be on the other side of the business business pleasure coin. But you don't have time. You're like, oh, I gotta go, baby. We'll make love tonight when I get back. You'll say that to your mans. You'll say that to your lady before you leave. But again, in the morning, it would have been great to have that puss flavor right in your mouth. Same with that cock flavor. A little bit of semen flavor, if you will. But again, sometimes the world gets busy as you adult, as you tend to, you gotta make schedules. You gotta make a timetable. You gotta adhere to it. You gotta keep it moving. 5 minutes allocated to this, 10 minutes allocated to that, 15 minutes of this, 23 minutes of that. But what if I told you you could still wait to make love in the evening or whenever you desire, but you could still have that beautiful puss flavor in your mouth? Introducing the new and improved puss flavored gum. It also comes in cock flavor as well for whoever likes to indulge in, whichever. It doesn't even matter. I don't care. I'm just saying. That's right. No, gone are the days where you had to be like, oh, I can't wait to make love to my lady or my fella and get a little bit of their juices in my mouth, and after we make love, I'm not gonna brush my teeth immediately. Why? Because I like the way she tastes. I just spitball that right. I'm just gonna keep that saliva into. I'll spit the saliva that's been mixed with her puss juice up in the air, and I'll catch it myself just to be able to gargle a little bit and be like, yes, that's my baby. Until next time, sweetheart. You'll say that, but again, these things are hard to come by. What if I told you no longer need to go searching in the middle of the desert, no longer need to go talking to shamans in the middle of a jungle, no longer need to go see a fella pierce his stomach with a sword and ask him how do you do it? They say it's magic. They say it's, what about how do you maintain? You'll find a guru that has cum or puss flavor in his mouth without actually having cum or puss in his mouth. And you're like, how did you do it? And he won't talk to you because he's taken the oath of silence for 7 years. But guess what? You no longer have to wait. Gum flavors come in varieties, but again, this is the best gum that you could get. Puss, vag flavored gum for the ladies or fellas who like to indulge. Semen or cack flavored gum for, again, the ladies and gents who like to indulge. All day, every day, before going to work, pop one in. And in the middle of work, what are you chewing on? Is that Hubba Bubba? No, it's not. It's cum flavored gum. Blow that bubble, make some friends, talk to a stranger, help an old lady across the street, offer a piece of cock flavored gum, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing well wherever you're tuning in from. It is Friday. Let's get right into it. I do want to say this. It is a tragedy that's happening all across the globe on a daily basis, and no one talks about it, and nobody is willing to, roll up their sleeves and make that change. But I said, you know what? Instead of they say be the change that you want to see in the world, or something along those lines. They say help yourself and you've helped the world, or help one person and it's like helping the world. But you know what? I said, you know what? Let's set the goals high. And I went to the most severe and most neglected portion of the population that's just suffering in silence, and no one's out there to help them, or at least help get a little bit of momentum behind the messaging that'll propel the platform, that'll uplift the individuals who are being held down. Now, this is not talked about, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to say that if we can just come together for a minute. Who am I talking about? What am I talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, a portion of this program today is going out to reach out to the public, of course. We are trying to save children, helping children who've lost their sense of smell. That's right. Every year, 700 gajillion babies lose their sense of smell. They don't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. Their parents are ashamed. Their parents actually kind of put them aside. If they have multiple kids, they don't bring that other kid that can't smell good to the party. If they register them in the school, they kind of, give a different last name. They do pick them up on time and everything, but from a distance, because they don't want to be associated with a kid that cannot smell well. And who knows when it's going to come back. But I say we put all that prejudice aside. I say it's high time that we take action. And I decided there's no better way to, 1, raise awareness, 2, come together, 3, do something that's tangible and within all of our reach. So if we could all just get together pick a date, really any date. I'm flexible. We could do it tomorrow, on the weekend, next Monday. Works for me. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But we get together and just nip it in the bud together, ladies. How do we do this? At least we start raising awareness by gaping. That's right. If you are sick and tired of hearing about your kid that has a difficult time smelling, or you may have a niece or a nephew that can't smell too good, and you're like, how do I help? Let's get together and just gape. The more we gape, the more we gape, the larger the gape is. You just plummet down to the floor, start gaping, stretch that asshole. When people start to ask you what's going on, you're like, oh, I'm trying to help kids who can't smell that good. Say that, and they'll be like, kids who can't smell that good, and you're like, yes, exactly. You didn't know about this shit, did you? And make a point of it. Get them to kneel down on the floor right beside you. Get them to kneel down on the floor right beside you and start gaping. Again, the bigger the gape, the bigger the message, the louder is our voice, the sooner this thing gets solved. I don't know if we should do it simultaneously where everybody just gets on the floor, starts gaping. Don't start, if you've not done this, I don't, encourage you to go like full gape, but also why just dabble when you can just do the whole, I want you to just basically, if you can, get on the floor, start creating a black hole from your little black hole and just let it grow. Let it grow, let it just take in whatever is in the surrounding. You'll notice an empty space will develop right in front of you or rather behind you, but it will start to engulf everything that's within the vicinity, which is nice. Next thing you know, people are drawn into the gaping hole that is you. And you can tell them, we're here to help children who can't smell that good get their sense of smell back. I know, this is devastating. It happens all year during, spring allergy season, fall, the school's about to start, winter, Christmas. Oh, I can't smell good. How many times have you been witnessing somebody get sent to their room because they can't smell? And you might have been one of those kids when you were younger who had a difficult time smelling, but nobody was there to stand up for you until today, until I said, you know what, no more. Ladies and gentlemen, we nip it in the bud together. We stand up for what is right, damn it. We stand up for what is right. Sometimes, I know, it's the difficult ones, it's the difficult choices that often get neglected, that often get pushed to the side, that often get put on the back burner, if you will. Because we're always like, yeah, we got time for this, that, and the other. But I ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, ladies and gentlemen of the public, where did we lose our sense of what is important and what is not important? So I'd ask you to act with vigilance, with diligence, with, keep persevering is what I'm trying to tell you. And get down and start gaping and let a friend know, let a family member know, let your fellow community members know, start gaping. And the larger you gape, the louder the message. You're like, how? I don't know how, but it just came to me, so I'm going to share it with you. This is how. A community that gapes together stays together. I know. I don't want to take credit for this though, because you sit around, you think about things, and ideas come and go, and so I'm not here to take credit for this shit. This is just, call it a public service announcement, call it I don't care. I really don't. I don't care. It's all of us coming together and doing it. I'm not here to be like, oh, this was just saying, let's do it together. Let's make a difference. It starts with you. I am feeling very much in the, sometimes you get up and you're like, what is it that I want to do? And you're like, oh, I want to help. And I also noticed that there's another portion of the population that often gets neglected. The most important people on this planet, some of the most important people on this planet almost always never get the thank that they should, or it's a thankless job that they might get the thank yous. They've got their days. What am I talking about? They don't get the prep work that goes into what is ahead of them in the futures, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, half the population happens to give birth. Who am I talking about? Mothers, females who give vaginal birth. These ladies, go about your life. Maybe you get married, maybe you don't. But somewhere down the line, you end up getting pregnant. Next thing you know, 9 months has come and gone by. Your vag has been filled with that baby batter. You're ballooning up like a nice blow-up doll. You are freaking everybody out, but everybody is cool, calm, and collected. You're sweating. You got the cold sweats. You got the hot sweats. Your tits are much bigger, which is nice, highly appreciated. But you're not ready for the birthing process. Because it's a once in a lifetime experience, or twice in a lifetime, or thrice in a lifetime, or depending on how many babies you want to really have. But the point is that you're not preparing for this. And you're like, nature takes care of that. They're always prepared. Are they though? Or could they be more prepared? Does it hurt to be more prepared? And that's why I thought to myself, I should sit down and come up with an idea to help ladies give birth much, much easier. And that's when I decided to look at physics, look at the sports world, look at athleticisms, look at the weather a little bit, just go out there, just stare at the climate for a second, come back inside, have a sip of coffee, go for a smoke, come back, sit down, write, think, go to the library. Oh, the library's closed, they're doing construction, come back home, do a little bit of research online, no problem, but I figured it out. I solved it. That's right, we did it together. No, you did it. No, you came up with this idea, great. I said, you know what? What is similar to the birthing process? And again, I had to look at sports. I had to really dig deep. And I believe football is the closest thing that we have to birth, to the birthing process. Why? Because you have a weird shaped ball that's not round like most sports. It's a weird shape. It's kind of like a two-sided bullet. It's like a oddly shaped sausage. That's, it's like I don't even know what it's weird. It's like a torpedo. It's like, you know what it is, but what's involved in football? Throwing and catching. And what are the key components, if I may ask the audience, what are the key components of birthing? Throwing and catching, that's right. The most important aspects of birthing. Throwing, catching, giving, and receiving. Taking and giving. Receiving and taking. But we don't prepare them. We don't prepare these ladies. But I said to myself, you know what? If there's the NFL players throwing balls and catching and cradling the balls, what can we teach our women's out there so that we can assist them in making the birthing process a little bit easier? And that's when I decided, if we just start putting it out there, at least to the ladies, if you can shove a football up your vagina, get on your back, before you know you're going to get pregnant. If it comes by surprise, then I can't help you. But if you're planning for this shit, let's say like 2 years in advance, you're like, man, I'm in a committed relation. I'm in the most committed relation. I'm in a serious fucking relationship. No laughter in this household, because we're that kind of couple. We're seriously committed. Get a football. Get on your back. Insert the football in your vag, deep in there, so you can basically take the entire thing, put it inside you. Get on your back. Ask your loved one, whether it's your husband or your wife. Maybe you're a lesbian couple who had their best friend fuck one of them, and now you're having a baby with your best friend who is the father, but you and your lesbian wife are gonna raise this baby, and that guy, he'll be there or not. Who cares? You got the baby now. But guess what? You're gonna need to prepare. That's what you need to do. Get on your back, shove the football in your vag. Or what I want you to do is launch the football out. Push the football out and try to make a nice spiral. And then again, in the initial stages, you might get a just a little bit of, it just like kind of just it just drooped out of my, it just slid out of my puss. I tried but I couldn't get it across the room. Do not feel bad. I couldn't get it across the room on my first try either, but I'll tell you what, after I'd say about 7 months, I can now launch a full-sized football out the vag right across the field. What field? It doesn't matter, any field. Weather conditions doesn't really impact me. Rain, sun, snow, night, day, mid-afternoon, breezy, crisp, whatever the weather, I don't care. I launch it now. I just right there. And you can do this too, but no one's talking about this. But guess what? When it comes down to it, you're going to be prepared. And by the time you're going to be giving birth, you're going to just be like, Doc, go long. Doctor's going to be right up in your grill or your vag right there. All right, on the count of 3, you'll be like, no, Doc, don't. You leave the counting to me. You'll say that with confidence. Why is another man getting in your vag telling you to do whenever you're ready? How about whenever you're ready? Or what about another female who hasn't given birth herself, but is just, because she dedicated her life to med school and she's like 47 and lives with a bunch of cats, beautiful soul, but no babies for her. And she's telling you whenever you're ready, start breathing and I want you to push. How about no? How about I take control? You'll say that, because now You come in there prepared. You've been launching footballs for like 2 years now. Launch that baby with your bat. Just launch it across the room. Go along. Make sure there's maybe 2, 3. You don't even need a doctor, to be honest. You need a couple of dudes with baseball gloves. That's what you need. Maybe hot towels, a little bit of warm to hot water. I don't care. You know what I mean? But enough. I don't want to see anybody getting in, 48-hour long birthing processes, having to take, numbing cream up to spinal cord or whatever, the painkillers, or just make you numb to just launch that baby like a football out the vag and make sure they can catch. You should probably bring your own catchers if you are going to be doing this. We should probably train our doctors how to catch properly too, because I don't think they know what they're doing. Unless you want to go down the traditional path. I'm not going to train. I'll just go this. I'll just go wing it. It's my first time giving. I'm just going to wing it. I don't know how to do it. I've never prepared for this. I'm just going to wing it. You'll say that. Where you can easily launch a baby across the street, across a river, you can do it. I'm telling you right now, don't limit yourself. Your vagina is far stronger than you think, and I would know. That's good. Let's shift gears for a second. If we can, skirt together, ladies and gentlemen. A beautiful event that has taken the globe for a ride of its life. That's taken it's exciting news is what I'm trying to fucking tell you. That's what I'm saying here. What are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? I guess I'm here to talk about right now reptilian mating rituals. Sometimes you're like, man, what do I got to do if I want to see a couple of reptiles just initiate mating habits? And maybe the mating habits have already initiated. Maybe the reptiles have already tied the knot. Maybe the reptiles have already been settled in, but it's been some time. And you're like, I just want to know about their dating life. A beautiful story that just unraveled right now. To me, it's beautiful. I don't know. Some might see it in other shades, but I'm not here to, I'm just here to tell you what happened. From what I understand is what's going on right now. I believe it's cyborg / lizard / human lizard cyborg Mark Zuckerberg, shout out, has just done something in the reptilian mating ritual world, if you will, that has taken the world by a storm. What has he done? It's beautiful to me. It's a beautiful gesture. It goes all the way back. It's historical. The gesture is historical. This beautiful lizard has been married to his lizard wife. I'm guessing. I don't know too much about the deeds, to be honest with you. But all of us know, and this is something perhaps others, I know you're like, but I'm not a human, but I'm not a lizard, I'm not a cyborg. How does this relate to me? Well, you can be any of those three. It could be a mix and match of those three. It doesn't matter what the percentages are. You might relate to this. You're like, I've been married. We may or may not have children. How do I keep the fire burning? Well, you got to look at history. And what was in history? Fire, burning, people being passionate, showing their love to one another by grand gestures. And what did our beautiful lizard prince do? He went and did what apparently Romans used to do to, again, keep the flame burning, to keep that relationship, and to also show what's up to the other lizards, to the other humans, to the other Romans, to all the other, whoever was inhabiting Earth at the time. It doesn't matter. But they did these beautiful grand gestures. They went out and made statues of their wives. These beautiful people in the Roman days, back in the day. It's a beautiful Roman ritual. You go out there, you get married, do a little bit of farm work, join the army, build a statue of your wife. And Mark, despite the fact that he's not a Roman, despite the fact that we're not living in Roman times, total regular everyday cyborg lizard human Mark Zuckerberg is bringing it back, or at least attempting to bring back building of statues for your wives or lovers to show them how much you love them. So he built this giant statue of his wife, and his wife is now, it's bigger than her. It's big. I've seen it, not in person, of course. It's big. The statue's big. I've been hearing, rumor has it, apparently, allegedly, that he is, now this part is a little bit, I'm not too, because it's, you got to do, if you're going to do something, you got to commit and do it properly. So I believe he's making his wife carry the statue everywhere. It's a big statue, and she's not allowed to even use her hands. Apparently the statue is allegedly, maybe perhaps on wheels, or maybe not, but there's a rope attached to the wheels. Or there are no wheels, we said that. There's the rope attached to the statue, and his wife has to pull the statue using her teeth everywhere. Now that part, again, I'm not Roman. I've not been Roman. I roam around. I'll go for a hike, you know me, I'll go for a walk. I'm a roamer, I guess. I'm Roman. I actually know what, I'm a fucking Roman every day. I'm gonna be roaming after this podcast is uploaded sometime in the afternoon, evening. You don't know me. I'll get in there. But yeah, apparently she's supposed to drag this giant statue around wherever they live and let the other wives in the neighborhood just know what's up. It's great because, oftentimes you see lizards, talking, eyes spinning in the back, rolling, just tongue sticking out. They're talking in their language, and you're like, what's going on? And this is beautiful. I'm not, I don't condone you making your wife drag a huge statue around town, but also it's a beautiful grand gesture. It's a completely normal everyday activity that normal humans just, were doing at one time. Not all of them, the ones that could afford it. But like the good ones, even if you can't afford it, you know what I mean? Maybe the statue wasn't made out of granite or marble. It was, maybe you could, others are viewing it in a different, I'm not here, I don't care, to be honest with you. I like love. I love love. Oh God, I miss love, but I don't have time right now. So I vicariously, when I see love, I fucking, I get in there with my emotions and I think to myself, man, I'm not gonna do that. But guess what? The statue is really big. So actually it's so big that it kind of symbolically represents, this is actually on behalf of all men, really. This is on behalf of all, if there's a gift like that out there, you no longer need to buy your wife or your lover, your lady, you don't need to buy her any more gifts. That's a symbolic representation of just gifts in general to the ladies. One big one on the team. It's like whenever you go to a birthday and you pitch in and buy something and it's like, oh, who's this gift from? It's from all of us. Or you go to a wedding and you slide a couple of bills in a little envelope and they're like, who's this from? And you quietly just say, oh, it's from us right here, this day, or whatever. I don't know. So it's from all of us to the ladies. I don't know, I don't know why, I don't know the significance of the timing. I didn't do that much research. I would say giant statue is, yeah, roses are fine. Chocolate is aight. Statue is good for letting people know that, this bitch is mine. This bitch is mine. She took. She mine. You want to get your hands on this bitch? She mine. You'll say that with the statue. If anybody was in doubt, because a ring, sometimes people might miss a ring, but you make her carry around a giant statue from the lawn, just because you live on I'm assuming a giant estate. Just dragging, we'll have some Long Island iced tea, sweetheart. Could you give us a hand? And she's just dragging this giant statue from afar. Your friends, family members, acquaintances, business partners might see that. They're like, who is that? And you'll see a giant statue being followed by a tiny lady, and they'll know It's your wife. So no, you can't. And that's the beauty of it. A lot of times, people might lose themselves, or you might lose somebody. You're not gonna lose anybody carrying a giant statue around town. You're not gonna be like, where'd I park my baby? You're not gonna. You're like, sweetheart, where are you? I can't remember where I parked my baby. She's right there. It's right by the giant statue. You'll say that, point it out. So you won't be able to lose her, which is great. It's an indicator to everybody else well, I don't know if he should probably etch. I don't know if he's had this already done or not, but etch your name on top of the statue or like at the bottom of the statue so that people know who it belongs to. Not to say that this is about possessions or, it's a nice gesture, a beautiful gesture. A great statue will, rings, necklaces, these are, so 2023, 2024 is almost done. No, it's in the past, guys. It's in the past. You want to show love, you build a giant statue of your lover in the backyard, in the fortress of your house, in the garage. You're maybe involved in some sort of construction. You're a construction magnate. Maybe you're just starting out. Just build a statue, work it into the floor plan, just build it as part of the building of wherever you're building a new building, and just erect that. Let it sit to let people know that you love your wife. It's a great gift, just like an everyday gift. It could, if you're like, I don't want to do the typical thing, this is something that's a little bit out there, it's nice. I will say this, getting a giant statue does immediately grant you, like I would say, from street value, I think like 3 to 5 side bitches. With every giant statue, that's the Romans did it, I think. I'm not sure. If you read enough, I'm sure you'll find it. A lot of things. Mark is trying to bring back some Roman aspects, and again, we all do our part. So one giant statue should probably give you 3 to 5 side bitches, like as a credit. You don't need to go get the statue and be like, all right, where are my side bitches? But it just it gives you that, because and ladies, I don't know what the Roman lady, but I guess these are now the modern times. Build your man a statue, you get a couple of side pieces, with 3 to 5 side pieces with every large statue that's been gifted. Whoever, because that's a lot. What do you want from me? That's 3 to 5 side pieces at least. Where that's a statue, because a ring and a necklace and chocolate and flowers. Well, you can, but a statue, 3 to 5 bare minimum. Again, that's street value. Wholesale. I didn't set these rules, man. The Romans did a lot of things, bringing it back. I don't know what other things they did. I'm assuming they had slavery. I don't know if we're gonna go down that path. Slave robots. I don't see a problem with that, to be honest. Slave robots, I think that's didn't have robots. Sure, they had slaves. I'm pretty sure they had. I want to say they did. I want to say at least like first, second, third tier citizens. Like they're definitely, I'm guessing they did. So a lot of things, beautiful. It'll, but also this is like, again, because everybody is living within certain means, within certain limitations, and you're like, I can't afford a giant statue. Build a tiny statue. It doesn't matter. Build a statuette. Build the Venus of Willendorf or whatever the fuck. That tiny little statue that symbolized women, fertility, big tits, nice wide hip, so that she was a launcher. We used to launch babies. Again, this is historical. This is all full circle. Build a tiny statue. Go to prison. Find a piece of wood. Get locked up. I don't care how you get locked, but go to prison. Start carving a little wooden statue of yours. Sure, she's on the outside getting her back broken by some free human out there, but it doesn't matter. You come back and she'll deny it. So that's, at least she made conjugal visits. That was nice. You got some phone calls behind behind like a, safety glass or whatever. But build the statue, a tiny one still goes a long way. And it's not gonna get you as many side pieces as a large one, but a statue gets you, at least a tiny statue has one side piece at least, I think anyway. Again, these are the street values. I don't know if you want to like do retail. I don't know that much about retail value. A good mid-sized statue from a, brand name store might get you 2 to 3 side pieces, even though despite the fact that it's not as big as the one Mark built or had built. I don't know if he made it himself or not, but who knows? He's getting. I like it. It is more it is a common man sort of thing. You ride a jet ski, waving giant American flag. You fucking you show up to UFC event, total normal dude, everyday guy, does jiu-jitsu, does just normal, happens to have everybody's information from his platform, which is nice, which is totally nice. But these are just normal. This is just guys being guys. One of the guys. Guys being guys, one of the guys doing guy activity. I support it. Now you're like, what if you have deep pockets and you saw the statue, you have had side pieces maybe, or you were thinking of getting them, and you're like, well, do I just build my wife or my lady a same size statue? No, go bigger. You got to one up one another. So I don't know how large the statue is, if it's like 8 feet, if it's like, 9, I don't know. I don't know the dimensions, to be honest with you. Again, find that lady who is pulling that statue all over the lawn, all over the globe, wherever she is, I don't know. Just find the dimensions. But if you're like, how do I compete with this? Because, once you get to a certain amount of money and like power and influence, it's, it's one of those things, how do I get around to feel things? Again, flowers and chocolate for the normsies, for the reg people. How do I feel like, dedicated or whatever? Build a bigger statue. If you have that kind of money, I want you to go out there right now, build a bigger statue than the one Mark Zuckerberg built his wife. Build one that's like at least a foot larger, just all around, just taller, wider, and make your wife carry that statue around. If that doesn't cut it, I would suggest that you get a put the statue on get a yacht. Get a yacht. Build a house on top of the yacht, like a Scarface sort of house where you go on, like there's like 2 staircases. Get that built on top of the yacht. Have your wife, surprise your wife, have her enter the mock Scarface house. As soon as she enters, 10 of those statues right at her, just staring at her, just do that. I think that is at least 15 side pieces with it. That is at least, again, these are street values, these are street numbers. I'm not telling you to, do I know a guy? Yeah, no, yes, no, maybe. Leave a comment, subscribe, check out patreon.com/RobSatry. Who knows? The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that it's a beautiful, normal, everyday human activity. There's nothing that's, then again, completely normal. One of the guys, just a regular guy, just doing regular guy activities, and I'm in full support of it. I now feel like just because he gets the side pieces with the statue, I do kind of feel like his wife, I feel like you now have to, like, because I get that the Romans did that, but we're living now. I want her to build him a giant statue so he too can show his fellas, his buds, who he is and who he belongs to. And guess what? He'll never get lost either. Mark, you're never gonna get lost. Just giant statue. which is nice. Other activities that the Romans may or may not have indulged in: wrestling in the nude. Probably, you know, doing some homoerotic wrestling, but not homoerotic because it was just what it was back then, I think. Again, I'm not too sure, not a historian. But if you want to bring it back, let's bring all of it back. How about those nice helmets with the red mohawk things going? Like, what do we? So let's sip to the gang, sip to Roman activities, sip to Romers out there, and sip to beautiful cyborg lizard princes. King, prince, right? Because there's like many of them. So it's nice. I support it. I'm a fan. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's shift gears for a second, if we can together. Let us get serious, because there's serious business going on in and around the world right now. Let me ask you this, you son of a bitch. Ladies, do you know where your data is? Do you know where your data was last night? Ask yourself this. Is your data really safe? Do you know where your data's been? You're like, yeah, I know where my data's in my pocket, my data's in my phonesies, my data's on the line. I've got my safe, secure, I got my data, it's online. Don't need to ask me where my data is, bro. I don't need a milk carton with a picture of my data on it being distributed throughout the neighborhood, because I know where my data is. How about you start pointing those fingers right back to yourself? Do you know where your data is? I don't. They say it's online. But I don't even know what that means. Somewhere. But do you know where your data is, ladies and gentlemen? Because if I'm not mistaken, recently, maybe yesterday or the day before, just within the past 48, 72 hours, we just had one of the biggest cybersecurity breaches, and it breached like a breached baby. It just fucking breached. The hackers went online, hacked the lines, and got like 3 billion people's worth of data, and not to mention maybe all my beautiful Americans' social security numbers. So is your social security number data, do you know where it is tonight? Do you know where it was last night? Because you're like, I tucked in my social security number in bed. I read my social security number a bedtime story. I made my social security number a glass of, I heated up some milk, I put some honey in it, I poured a little bit of brandy in the milk with the honey, stirred it up, gave it to my social security number and data, read a couple of chapters from a book, retucked one more time, turned off the lights, and I went downstairs and made love to my wife. You'll say that. You're like, I know where my data is. Wow. You think you do. You think you're doing a good job with your data. You're like, I sent my data to public school. I sent my data to get a day job. I know where my data's got a good head on his shoulder. You'll say that, but does he now? Does it now? Do you now? Do we now? So is our data safe? Here's the thing. Simultaneously, because we had this data breach, I did also hear that we've heard murmurs, rumors, little buzzwords, every once in a while I get like peppered in with little bits and pieces of information here and there regarding to different things that are seemingly separated, but at a closer look, at a micro penis look, not looking at a macro penis perspective, but a micro penis perspective, things are much closer than it may appear to the naked eye, to the nudist eye. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Australia is just maybe talking about introducing digital IDs. I know we've had similar talks in different parts of the world. They'll pepper it in a little bit in the news. You might see little pockets of, digital IDs. Scan your retina, just get inside. Everything's online. They know but And then something like this happens. You have a data breach where everything is online now. Now what was once a very wholesome set of data, did a regular path of data, went to kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school, maybe university, college, maybe not, maybe went to the trades, maybe went out there, got some work experience, maybe started a family, maybe didn't. But a regular set of data nonetheless. But now your data is open to all sorts of hackers being, just a bunch of information perverts out there, just getting behind the computer. You don't know who they are. You don't see their face. You don't see their cock. You don't see their tits. And they're just there, just hacking, just taking a saw and a hammer and just hacking, just taking an axe and just hacking your information, man, ladies. And now your information, what was once just innocent, wholesome, sure, maybe you made a couple of mistakes, but it's information, it's data, it's okay. She has a good head on her shoulders, sure. But now your data is loose. Now your data is injecting fucking amphetamines up her fucking arm. Now she's tying tubes around her ankle because she can't find it. She can't find a vein. Now she's just, in a bathroom stall in the middle of nowhere, sucking somebody off just because, what was once a very innocent little bit of information on the lines has now just turned into your entire life being exposed to God knows what, man. Do you even recognize your data anymore? Do ya? You're like, I do. It's my social security number. It's everybody's social security number. It's everybody's social security. But now imagine all your data is put on the lines. Your passport, your driver's license, your social security number for my American brethren and sistren, our social insurance number here in Canada, our SIN number, or just SIN, or social security number. There's no point in saying social security number because the N is the SIN number. The SIN number is which you can't. It doesn't make sense to say SIN number because then you're saying social security number. You should just say SIN number. I don't know. All I'm saying is your data, beautiful data that you gave birth to, that was very precious to you not too long ago. You put the cassette in the Corvette and you put the top down and you went outside and had a good time and you thought the data's gonna raise itself. Well, guess what? The data's chain smoking now. And that's not even the worst part. Data's doing maybe other things, but you don't know. But at least it does make us feel better to know that somebody knows. It is good to, but this is all in the world of cybersecurity. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination in any field for that matter. It's a matter of security. It's about data. It's about being, exposed. I'll say this, you need to take matters into your own hands. You need to get some security for your data. You need to get somebody with giant biceps and huge traps, no neck, to watch over your data. Maybe get a couple of goons with AKs and put your data in a secure area and hire these bad boys to watch your data. Should anybody enter the premises, they got the license to go blah, blah, right there. Because guess what's important? Your fucking data. That's what's important. That's what's at stake right here. Maybe your data should be, maybe you shouldn't even tell people you have data. Because maybe you should keep your data off the lines. What? Mind exploding. How do I do that? You can't. It's too late. But maybe you can. But maybe you can't. No, we can't. But there's got to be a balance. There's got to be something that we could do potentially. Maybe keeping some things off the lines would be nice. Perhaps it's moments like this that the world stops and sees that, hey, maybe going fully digital is not, maybe digital is nice, but maybe fully digital, maybe we should just pump the brakes a little bit. Because guess what? Next thing you know, all your information might be just sucked up by a nice little pervert hacker in a hacking station somewhere. I guess they know your birthday, they know your mom's birthday, your dad's birthday, the name of your cat, the name of your grandmother, the name of that, the name of the baby that you aborted. You thought of the baby's name, but you aborted it way in advance. So it wasn't actually a baby, but nonetheless, you came out and they know that. They know that you did that. They might know your medical history. What if that's online? They might get you. And guess what? Do you want your medical history on the lines? I don't know. All this stuff just makes me feel like what happened to just men and women just, looking after their own data? What happened to just cold hard days of cold hard cash and IDs that were printed on plastic so you can whip it out and just be like, there's my ID, while holding on to it very firmly so you don't let go, because who knows what kind of shuffling might go around when they're grabbing your ID. Maybe let me get it at the local gas station, let me grab your ID just to check the date of birth, and then look over there behind you, they'll say that. You look over there and they just swapped your ID with another ID, or they just made a quick replica of your ID or credit card. But at least they had to go a little bit of an extra mile. Now they can just, again, sit behind their pervert desks and just get your data. Now your data's in a basement, locked up, being deprived of food, sleep, adequate care, and maybe exposed to some penis. Think about that. That's your data with penis in its mouth. God. I do have a lot of passwords, just like many of you guys and gals out there, so it is nice to know that if I ever forget one password, or there's at least somebody out there that has them. So in order to beat the hackers, we must all become hackers. We should all, yes. How to beat you fight hacking with hacking. I don't know the first thing about hacking. It's not my world. I was never interested. I think then you're gonna have to probably either download an app or subscribe to some sort of an online service which will monitor your credit cards, your social security numbers, your social insurance numbers, or wherever you are and around the world, whatever data you've got online, that might keep a track. On top of that, doesn't mean that it's gonna stop though. It might just notify you, and that's good to know, to get a notification that your information that was on the lines has been breached by a bunch of hackers. It's just delightful. I think that, again, maybe perhaps there is something to learn from all of this. And you do hear all sorts of, and especially nowadays, we've got the big giant US election coming up in the next several months. And you already hear all the news from, particular actors from across the globe, maybe hacking into your data systems, trying to skew things. China, maybe Russia, maybe Iran, who knows? All this stuff online. It's just something to think about, ladies and gents. Maybe we should keep a few things off the lines is what I'm saying. I say go back to maybe we should just go all the way back to the time where you got to a place and a beautiful door was right in front of you, and a nice little slot opened up or slid to the side, and you saw a pair of eyeballs and they said password, and you said lick my balls, and that was the password, and the sliding tiny door closed, and then the actual door opened, and lick my balls was, and that's how you went places and did things. But those days are gone. Well, maybe we can bring those back, just like Mark Zuckerberg is bringing back certain aspects of roaming around, which is nice. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is Friday. We are here. And I just want to say that We're all in it together, and this is a great time to be alive and kicking. Whatever you're doing out there, get a grip on your data. Hold it tight. Let your data know that you love them. Let your data know that you care for them. It's, your data is only yours for a limited amount of time before it grows up and goes off to college and doesn't want to spend as much time with you as it used to. It used to see you, run up to you, hug you, maybe kiss you a little bit, who knows, but now it's fully grown and it's off in the world doing its own thing, and rightly so. Every person wants to see their data grow up and just become its own thing, but the time that you do have with your data, cherish it, hold it tight, hold it near and dear to you. You never know when it's going to be your last time seeing your data in its original form, at least. Like, it'll be change is not easy for anyone, I'll say that, but change is also good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been Friday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys here next week. Once again, where can you find these videos? On Instagram, follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel to help your boy help yourself out. Check out patreon.com/robsadri if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. I'll be back here again next week. In the meantime, have fun. Peace out.